Even the most popular television shows that people watch again and again have bits of behind-the-scenes secrets and details about the cast members that hide in the darkness. Here, we dig into the lesser-known aspects of The Andy Griffith Show, a beloved pop-cultural gem of the 1960s that left an indelible mark. What strange things did fans mail to Don Knotts? Who was that mysterious actor who played Mr. Schwamp? And what happened to Opie's mother on The Andy Griffith Show? Keep watching through to learn more about the beloved show and the surprising things that went on behind the scenes in Mayberry. The show's theme song was written in 15 minutes. The Andy Griffith Show features a famous theme song that's instantly recognizable to many, yet not everyone knows its title. This iconic tune is called Fishin' Hole, and it's not just a whistle melody, it also has lyrics. Surprisingly, the show's star, Andy Griffith, sang the original version of this song himself. The talented creators behind the show's theme song, Herbert Spencer and Earl Hagen, collaborated to compose a fully sung version of the song in a remarkably short span of fewer than 15 minutes. The lyrics for Fishin' Hole were crafted by Everett Sloan, a renowned composer known for creating theme songs for other TV shows like The Dick Van Dyke Show, The Mod Squad, and I Spy. Sloan's lyrics intentionally kept things simple, mirroring the show's down-to-earth charm. Andy Griffith Show featured real-life besties. It might come as a surprise to many that the heartwarming relationship portrayed by Don and Andy on The Andy Griffith Show was a reflection of their genuine off-screen friendship. Both Andy Griffith and Don Knotts shared a common background, having grown up during the challenging era of the Great Depression and experiencing poverty firsthand. Griffith's upbringing took place in North Carolina, where his family faced financial difficulties to the extent that they couldn't even afford a crib for him as a baby. Consequently, he slept in dresser drawers during his infancy. Meanwhile, Knotts was raised in West Virginia as one of 4 boys, enduring his own share of hardship during those trying times. Andy Griffith wasn't comfortable with on-screen romance. During the course of the show, Andy's character found himself entangled in several romantic relationships. However, his first taste of love was with Ellie Walker, portrayed by Eleanor Donahue. Ellie was a newcomer to the town and worked at her uncle's pharmacy, bringing her charm to Mayberry. Eleanor Donahue took on the role of the pharmacist, Ellie Walker, for a total of 12 episodes during the series. Initially, the character of Ellie Walker was intended to be a romantic interest for Sheriff Andy Taylor. However, this promising storyline took an unexpected turn when Eleanor Donahue left the show after just 1 season. The reason behind her departure was the apparent lack of chemistry between her and Andy Griffith on screen. Griffith had difficulty displaying on-screen affection, which made their on-screen relationship feel less authentic. Consequently, Ellie's character vanished from the show without any explanation provided to the viewers. Andy's death. Andy Griffith had quite the mischievous side when it came to working on The Andy Griffith Show, and he had a particular fondness for playing practical jokes, often directing his playful antics toward Don Knotts. Interestingly, Don Knotts' real name was Jesse, a fact he didn't appreciate much, and Andy didn't miss an opportunity to tease him about it. This humorous dynamic was quite the opposite of the characters on the show. Their camaraderie began to take shape early on when, during the 2nd episode, Andy realized that Don had a natural talent for comedy, prompting him to think that Don's character should reflect that too, adding a layer of humor to the series. The spirit of good-natured pranks between the cast members was infectious, leading them to pull one over on Andy as well. They decided to play a cheeky trick by making off with his shoes from his dressing room, leaving him with no choice but to wear his oversized sheriff boots all the way home that night. Much to their amusement, Andy took the prank in good humor. The off-screen tomfoolery even found its way into the show itself, manifesting in the episode titled Runaway Kid. In this memorable episode, Opie and his friends decided to prank Sheriff Taylor by relocating his car right in front of a fire hydrant, setting the stage for a comical, ticket-worthy situation. Opie wasn't the one who threw the rock in the lake. Back in 1960, while shooting the iconic opening credits scene for the Andy Griffith Show, the cast and crew headed to Franklin Canyon. This particular scene featured Andy and young Opie strolling along a dusty road with their fishing gear in tow, and it also captured a charming moment when Opie paused to toss a stone into the water. However, there was a minor hiccup during filming. 6-year-old Ron Howard, who played Opie, struggled to throw the rock far enough to create a satisfying splash in the water. To remedy the situation, the production team came up with a clever solution. They discreetly stationed someone amidst the bushes who possessed a talent for throwing rocks exceptionally well. This hidden expert's skill ensured that the splash appeared absolutely perfect on screen, saving the scene and adding to its charm. The real reason Barney never showed up after Season 5. At the outset of the show, Andy Griffith shared his intention with Don Knotts and the rest of the Griffith Show cast. He envisioned the series lasting just 5 seasons. Consequently, they all entered into contracts committed to this initial time frame. As the 5th season kicked off, Don Knotts began exploring alternative job opportunities and swiftly secured several prospects, even securing a deal with Universal for 5 movies. However, sponsors and executives managed to persuade him to return for an additional 3 seasons, effectively extending the show's longevity beyond its original. Aunt B couldn't be bothered. Frances Bavier, the talented actress behind the character Aunt B in the show, was often said to possess a rather limited sense of humor. Hailing from a privileged background in New York City, she had experienced a life of refinement, pursuing her education at prestigious institutions like Columbia University and the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. Before her journey led her to the Andy Griffith Show. Despite her apparent lack of humor, she dedicated a decade to portraying Aunt B on the show and achieved recognition for her remarkable talent, securing an Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Comedy Actress in 1967. A prickly relationship. Throughout much of the show's run, Andy and Frances had a somewhat strained relationship. Andy's penchant for jokes and pranks clashed with Frances Bavier's more serious demeanor, creating some tension on set. However, as fate would have it, they managed to mend their relationship before Frances passed away in 1989. In a touching gesture, Frances Bavier reached out to Andy Griffith shortly before her death and extended an apology for her perceived difficult behavior during their time filming together. This reconciliation serves as a heartwarming reminder that even if their on-screen dynamics didn't always reflect it, the cast held genuine care and concern for one another. The cast had favorite episodes. Andy Griffith had a soft spot for his favorite episode, Barney's First Car, which was part of the show's 3rd season. In this humorous installment, Barney invests his life savings in an old car that, unfortunately, doesn't quite live up to expectations. On the other hand, Ronnie Howard, who portrayed Opie, cherished the episode titled The Ball Game. Interestingly, this episode was penned by his father, Rance Howard, who not only had a hand in writing but also appeared in 5 episodes of the series. Spanning 8 seasons, from 1960 to 1968, the remarkable journey of the Andy Griffith Show resulted in a total of 249 episodes being filmed. Fans sent Don Knotts actual bullets. On the Andy Griffith Show, there was a running joke about Barney Fife being allowed only 1 bullet in his gun, a precaution set by Andy to prevent any accidental mishaps. Occasionally, Andy would double-check to ensure Barney adhered to this rule. Interestingly, fans from all over the country expressed their unwavering affection for Barney Fife, the character brought to life by Don Knotts, by sending him real bullets. It was certainly a unique and quirky way for fans to show their appreciation. There were numerous cars used in the show. Cars played a significant role in The Andy Griffith Show, much like the importance of music. Some of the show's most memorable episodes revolved around the cars and the characters who drove them. Throughout its 9-year run, the series featured a variety of impressive vehicles, but Andy Griffith's police cruisers consistently remained Ford Galaxy 500 sedans. As the show progressed, Ford cars became even more prominent, likely due to a sponsorship agreement with the Ford Motor Company. Under this arrangement, the company provided a new car each time a fresh model was introduced. This partnership led to the show accumulating a total of 10 cars, averaging more than one new vehicle per season. Mayberry was based on Andy's hometown. The majority of The Andy Griffith Show was filmed at Desilu Studios, with some outdoor shots captured at 40 acres in Culver City, California. The show's forested scenes were filmed in Franklin Canyon. While Mayberry is often perceived as a fictional place, it was actually inspired by Andy Griffith's hometown, Mount Airy, North Carolina. For a long time, Griffith denied any direct connection between Mayberry and Mount Airy. However, fans can spot evidence to the contrary in the episode titled A Black Day for Mayberry. In this particular episode, sharp-eyed viewers can clearly see the words Mount Airy on a phone book resting on the sheriff's desk, bridging the gap between the fictional and real-world settings. The Pickle episode was Don Knotts' favorite episode. The Pickle story holds a special place in the hearts of fans, and it's easy to see why. Despite Aunt Bee's reputation as a great cook, her venture into pickle making didn't quite hit the mark. Clara Johnson, a 12-time pickle champion, pointed out several reasons why Bee's pickles fell short. She used excessive brine, skimped on parsley, employed old and soft cucumbers, relied on stale spices, and didn't boil the vinegar thoroughly. This culinary misstep left Barney and Andy with the task of consuming and discreetly disposing of numerous subpar pickles. They didn't want to hurt Aunt Bee's feelings by admitting the pickles weren't up to par. Don Knotts, known for his role as Barney, thoroughly enjoyed filming this episode, and it brought plenty of laughter to viewers as well. Andy wasn't the only prankster in town. Andy Griffith had a penchant for practical jokes, and he injected a sense of playfulness and vibrancy into the atmosphere on the set of The Andy Griffith Show. His favorite target for these tricks was none other than Don Knotts. Andy had a habit of addressing Don as Jess daily, a quirk that never failed to irk him. While Don typically exuded liveliness on camera, off camera, he carried an air of calm and dignity, something Andy took great delight in disrupting. On one occasion, Andy's mischievous nature led to an unexpected awakening for Don when he accidentally dropped a metal film canister, startling him from a nap. This playful spirit of Andy's became infectious, sparking a lively exchange of pranks among the cast and crew. One legendary episode involved the crew pilfering Andy's shoes, forcing him to make the journey home in his sheriff boots. Although they eventually returned his shoes, they did so with a humorous twist. They were bronzed for added amusement. They quit while they were ahead. The Andy Griffith Show concluded its run on a high note, reigning supreme at the pinnacle of Nielsen's ratings. This prestigious achievement places it in the exclusive company of just 3 television shows in history: The Andy Griffith Show, I Love Lucy, and Seinfeld. Remarkably, its reruns continued to captivate audiences for over 5 decades. Throughout its entire duration, the show consistently held a position in the coveted top 10 rankings and never descended below 7th place in the annual television show ratings during its era. No contract. Barney Fife's character was on the verge of potentially being a one-episode wonder as Don Knotts, like several other actors, arrived for the initial day of filming without a solid contract in place. While it's a seldom mentioned fact, Barney is revealed to be Andy's cousin in a few early episodes. Despite this uncertain start, Barney Fife's character quickly became a fan favorite and left an indelible mark. In fact, he earned the impressive 9th spot on TV Guide's 50 Greatest TV Characters of All Time list in 1999. The Mysterious Man and the Unknown Actor. You might have noticed a recurring character named Mr. Schwamp, who made occasional appearances in various episodes. Mr. Schwamp was a middle-aged man with dark hair who seemed to be a toupee. He often sat on a park bench or appeared in crowd scenes, and when Andy or Barney spotted him, they would greet him with a friendly, "Hello, Mr. Schwamp," to which he would respond with a nod and a smile. Interestingly, Mr. Schwamp also made appearances in 2 episodes of the spin-off series, Gomer Pyle, USMC. Despite these numerous appearances, the identity of the actor who portrayed Mr. Schwamp remains a mystery to this day. It's a subject of much debate among fans, and has even led to some playful speculation, like the April Fool's Day prank in 2012, when the Andy Griffith Show Rerun Watchers Club jokingly suggested that the actor could be a man named Patch S. Wimmers. Chemistry sells. The producers of the show were thoroughly impressed by the remarkable chemistry between Andy Griffith and Don Knotts, so much so that they decided to draft an employment contract on the spot, initially for 1 year and later extending it for an additional 5 years. Andy Griffith himself reflected on this chemistry, noting, "The second episode was called Manhunt, and I knew by that episode that Don should be the comic, and I should play it straight for him. That decision truly made all the difference." Their partnership is often hailed as one of the most iconic and beloved duos in TV history. Andy Griffith's nickname on and off the screen. In the entertainment industry, nicknames are quite common, and even the iconic Andy Griffith found himself subject to this trend. Throughout the show, Barney often affectionately called Andy Ainge. It was Don Knotts who coined this nickname by cleverly combining Andy's first and last names, resulting in Andy Griffith. He grew fond of it and incorporated it into both their on-screen interactions and their real-life friendship. Interestingly, some fans even mistakenly thought it was Ange instead of Andy, a stroke of brilliance in the show. Howard McNear, the actor renowned for his portrayal of Floyd the Barber, faced mobility challenges after suffering a stroke while working on the show. To facilitate his continued performance, the creators devised special props that allowed him to appear as though he were standing. They even crafted a customized stool to assist him. As a result, you may have noticed Floyd either sitting in his chair or leaning on a bench outside his shop in his later episodes. It's evident that he refrains from using his left hand during these scenes, illustrating the difficulties he encountered in maintaining his character on the show due to his paralysis on the left side. Andy and Anita had a little fling. Andy Griffith and Anita Corsaut, known for her role as Helen Crump, shared a romantic relationship off-camera. Anita's exceptional performance endeared her to both the audience and the producers, which resulted in her extended tenure on the show. Rumors about a romantic involvement between Andy and Anita began circulating, despite Andy's marital status. Although this clandestine connection remained confidential during the production of the show, it eventually became public knowledge and quickly gained attention. Jim Nabors got his own show. Jim Nabors portrayed the endearing character of Gomer Pyle in Mayberry. Following the conclusion of the Andy Griffith Show, Jim was granted his own spin-off series centered around this character. This spin-off show was titled Gomer Pyle USMC, where Gomer embarks on a journey with the Marines. Jim was not only a talented actor but also possessed a remarkable singing voice, having recorded 28 albums throughout his career. Real-life lovers. In real life, Andy Taylor and Helen Crump, portrayed by Andy Griffith and Anita Corsaut, shared an on-screen romance that led to rumors of a real-life relationship between Andy and Anita. It's worth noting that Andy was married at the time, so they were discreet about their connection. However, their secret was inadvertently revealed during a playful prank by the cast. As part of the prank, a crew member disguised as a waiter delivered food to Andy's room. But to everyone's surprise, he stumbled upon Andy and Anita in a compromising situation. this unexpected discovery was not part of the prank's intention. Eventually, Andy and his wife divorced, marking the end of his third marriage. Helen Crump was initially a temporary character. Initially, Annetta Corsaw was intended to make just a single appearance on the show. However, the producers were so impressed by her performance that they decided to keep her as a recurring character, and she soon became a vital part of the series. As the show progressed, Andy Griffith, despite being married, developed an on-screen romantic relationship with her character, Helen Crump. Andy advocated for her character to remain on the show as a permanent fixture. Consequently, Helen Crump became a regular member of the Andy Griffith Show's cast throughout the entire series. The show's biggest mystery, Opie's mother. Opie's mother and Andy's wife remains one of the most significant mysteries in the show. She is only mentioned in a single episode titled Wedding Bells for Aunt B, where Andy becomes emotional while reminiscing about her while watching Aunt B prepare for his wedding. In this episode, he shares his deep love and fond memories of his late wife with Opie. Throughout the rest of the series, viewers are left in the dark about any details regarding Opie's mother. There is no further mention of her, and no photographs or visual references are provided. In the precursor show, The Danny Thomas Show, from which the Andy Griffith Show was derived, Andy briefly mentions that his wife passed away when Opie was just a very young baby. The character of Opie's mother remains shrouded in mystery. Andy Griffith owned 50% of the show. Sheldon Leonard and Danny Thomas had a vision to create a new TV show featuring Andy Griffith, casting him as both a justice of the peace and a newspaper editor in a quaint small town. The William Morris Agency recognized Andy Griffith as the ideal fit for the role, given his rural upbringing and previous experience in similar roles. When Andy was approached with the opportunity, he was primarily focused on his movie career and had limited exposure to the television industry. However, he agreed to take on the project under one condition, that he would retain a 50% ownership stake in the show. After discussing the terms with Leonard in New York, Andy made the trip to Los Angeles to film the pilot episode. Little did anyone anticipate that by the time of his passing, Andy Griffith's net worth would have grown to approximately $35 million. Annetta Corsaw went to school while acting. Helen Crump, played by the actress Annetta Corsaw, was Sheriff Andy Taylor's on-screen girlfriend, and there were rumors suggesting that she also dated Andy Griffith in real life. Before pursuing her acting career, Corsaw was a drama major at Northwestern University. While working on The Andy Griffith Show, she concurrently pursued her education at UCLA. Don Knotts left the show by accident. When Andy Griffith initially agreed to do the show, he had mentioned to Don Knotts that he intended for the series to run for just 5 years. As a result, both of them signed 5-year contracts, and the show began. Later on, Don Knotts signed a 3-year deal with Universal Pictures. When Andy Griffith decided to continue with the show, Knotts couldn't stay on. Andy and Barney's relationship secrets. If you watch the first few episodes of the show closely, you'll notice that Andy and Barney were portrayed as cousins. This was done humorously to play on the stereotype of close-knit Southern relationships, often leading to jobs in local government. However, after a few mentions of their cousins' relationship in the first season, this backstory was eventually abandoned, and they were portrayed as childhood friends instead. Andy's no Hulk. While filming the second season of the show, Andy Griffith became so upset that he punched a wall, resulting in a broken hand. As a result, his hand had to be carefully wrapped in bandages for the duration of the filming. To account for this injury within the show's storyline, the producers explained that Sheriff Taylor had been injured while apprehending some criminals. This explanation certainly sounded more heroic than revealing that Andy had punched a wall out of anger or frustration. Star Trek came to Mayberry. Were you aware that the Andy Griffith Show was utilized in several episodes of Star Trek due to budget constraints for new sets? Star Trek incorporated the Mayberry set in episodes such as Miri, The City on the Edge of Forever, The Return of the Archons, and A Piece of the Action. The first two Star Trek episodes closely resembled the Mayberry setting. In The City on the Edge of Forever, you can spot William Shatner and Joan Collins strolling casually outside of Floyd's barbershop. Conversely, Miri depicted a haunting vision of a Mayberry devastated by an apocalyptic event, with the ruined Bartlett stables serving as a reminder of Opie's once favorite playground. Frozen in time. If you take a careful look inside Floyd's barbershop, you'll observe that the scene remains frozen in time. The calendar on Floyd's wall remains perpetually fixed on February throughout the entire duration of the show. It's unclear whether this was an oversight by the show's directors and producers, or if they deliberately chose to maintain this small detail for some particular reason. Nevertheless, in Floyd's barbershop, February is an eternal month. It's almost as if they had foreseen that the show would become a timeless classic. As we delve into the intriguing behind-the-scenes tales and hidden gems of The Andy Griffith Show, it's apparent that this beloved classic has left an indelible mark on television history. Now we want to hear from you. What's your favorite moment or fact about The Andy Griffith Show? Share your thoughts and memories in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey through Mayberry, don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating insights into your favorite shows and movies. I'll see you next time. Bye.